Star of the Vorak Empire prided himself on being a professional. 30 cycles of harvesting lesser beings for the galactic black market had earned him a 97% success rate. The missing 3% had involved surprisingly aggressive fungal infections that he preferred not to discuss. Earth, according to all intelligence reports, would be his easiest payday yet. The target species was laughably defenseless. No natural armor, no venomous fangs, no acid secretions, and most pathetically, no claws worth mentioning. These humans had apparently compensated for their biological inadequacies by building primitive projectile weapons and declaring themselves the dominant species. Adorable asterisk, Star thought, adjusting his military-grade cloaking field as he crouched in the bushes outside 1247, Maple Street, Beaverton, Ohio, population 8,000, including what the humans quaintly called pets. The irony wasn't lost on him that these creatures voluntarily surrounded themselves with even weaker species for emotional support. It was like watching a species advertise its own vulnerability. His target was simple: one human juvenile, approximately 8 Earth years old. The client had been specific about age requirements, something about optimal neuroplasticity. Star didn't ask questions about client preferences. He collected payment and delivered goods. Through his thermoscope, he observed the Miller family's evening routine. 2 adult humans, 1 juvenile, and according to his scans, 1 unidentified heat signature moving independently through the house. Probably some harmless domestic animal his research indicated humans kept for companionship. Dave and Linda Miller were settling into their nightly stupor before a glowing entertainment rectangle. The child, Tommy, was in an upstairs room, likely in his sleep cycle based on reduced household activity. Star ran through his equipment checklist. Paralysis beam, check. Portable stasis field, check. Emergency teleportation beacon, check, though he doubted he'd need it. This was Earth. After all, what could possibly require backup? He was about to initiate approach when the unidentified heat signature moved into clearer view through the ground floor window. Star froze. It was orange and enormous, and it sat in the window like a furry sentinel, green eyes reflecting streetlight with an intensity that made Star's primary stomach clench uncomfortably. Asterisk, just a domestic animal, asterisk, he muttered. Asterisk, harmless pet. Probably decorative, asterisk. The creature seemed to turn its head directly toward his hiding spot, which was impossible. His cloaking field was military-grade, undetectable by any known primitive species. Those green eyes blinked once. Slowly, deliberately, Star checked his readings. Cloaking field active. Thermal dampeners active. Audio suppressors active. There was absolutely no way a primitive Earth creature could detect him. The orange thing opened its mouth in what a translator interpreted as a yawn, revealing an impressive array of sharp white teeth. Standard extraction protocol. Star steadied himself. In and out, 30 minutes maximum. He crept toward the house with the practiced stealth of a professional predator. This was going to be the easiest 20,000 credits he'd ever made. In the window, Chairman Meow watched the strange, tall creature approach his territory and began to purr. It was not a friendly purr. Star's opening move was textbook perfect. His paralysis beam caught both adult humans simultaneously, dropping them into peaceful unconsciousness. Dave Miller's hand was still reaching for the remote when the neural disruptor took effect. Linda Miller slumped sideways, her book falling with a soft thud. Textbook execution. Star whispered into his comm device, powering down the beam. Proceeding to Phase 2. He'd taken exactly 3 steps toward the front door when 20 pounds of furious Maine Coon cat hit him like a furry meteor. Chairman Meow had apparently decided the tall, ugly intruder needed immediate correction, and cats don't believe in warning shots. He landed on Star's head with claws extended, yowling with the sound of 1,000 dying suns. What the? Star stumbled backward, frantically trying to dislodge what felt like an extremely angry throw pillow equipped with knives. Get off! Get off! He fired his paralysis beam directly at the orange menace clinging to his skull. The beam hit Chairman Meow square in the chest with enough neural disruption energy to drop a Chlorian battle rhino. Chairman Meow paused his assault for approximately half a second, looked down at the glowing beam hitting his chest, then looked back at Star with an expression that clearly conveyed, asterisk, is that supposed to be doing something? Asterisk. Then he resumed face clawing with renewed enthusiasm. Impossible. Star spun in circles, checking his weapon readings while trying to shake off his attacker. Full power. Maximum neural disruption. You should be unconscious. Chairman Meow responded by relocating his claws to Star's antenna array, which immediately began sparking. The alien's cloaking field flickered and died. No, not the communications array. Star reached up to protect his equipment, exactly the opening Chairman Meow had been waiting for. The cat launched himself from Star's head, performed a perfect mid-air twist that would have impressed Olympic gymnasts, and landed gracefully behind the alien. Star spun around, paralysis beam raised. Stay back. I am a trained hunter of the Vorak Empire. I have felled creatures 10 times your size. Chairman Meow sat down and began washing his paw, completely ignoring the weapon pointed at him. This was the feline equivalent of adjusting your tie after throwing someone through a window. That's right, Star said, trying to regain composure. Recognize your superior. I am Apex Predator. You are just small domestic creature. Chairman Meow finished cleaning his paw and looked up at Star. Then, maintaining eye contact, he slowly knocked over the Miller's Garden gnome. It fell with a ceramic crash that echoed through the suburban night. Why did you do that? Star demanded. That served no tactical purpose. Chairman Meow moved to the bird bath and, still watching Star, deliberately pushed a decorative stone off the edge. Asterisk splashed or asterisk. Stop that. I don't understand what you're trying to accomplish. But Chairman Meow was just getting started. He padded over to Mrs. Miller's prized petunias and began systematically knocking over every plant marker, maintaining perfect eye contact throughout. Star realized with growing horror that this wasn't random destruction. This was psychological warfare. The creature was demonstrating that it could destroy anything in its territory at will, and the mighty Vorak hunter could do absolutely nothing to stop it. This is impossible, he muttered, checking his weapon readings again. Neural disruptors work on all organic life forms. Basic biology. Chairman Meow finished with the garden markers and sat down in front of Star. Then he began purring again, deeper, more ominous. The purr of a predator who had realized his prey was more entertaining than initially thought. Star took a step backward, then another. Chairman Meow's pupils dilated to perfect black circles. Okay, Star's voice climbed an octave. Maybe I need to reassess the situation. Fumbling for his emergency communicator while keeping his eyes locked on Chairman Meow, who had begun that creepy cat thing where they wiggle their hindquarters before pouncing, Star managed to establish contact. Command, this is Hunter Star requesting immediate tactical support. The response crackled through with a sardonic tone of General Frick. Support already, Star? You've been planet-side for exactly 14 minutes. What could you possibly need support for? I'm encountering unexpected resistance from a local apex predator. A pause, then laughter, deep, rumbling Vorak laughter. Apex predator? On Earth, the most dangerous thing on that planet is their weather patterns. Are you telling me you can't handle one primitive mammal? Chairman Meow chose that exact moment to demonstrate his vertical leap capability by launching directly at Star's face. The alien hunter dove sideways, rolled behind the miller's mailbox, and came up with his dignity in tatters and his equipment smoking. It's not responding to neural disruption. It appears to operate outside normal biological parameters. More laughter. Oh, this is rich. The mighty Star, terror of 6 star systems, defeated by Earth wildlife. What's next? Hostile vegetation. Send backup. Fine. I'm dispatching hunters Vexith, Krilla, and Zixnal. Surely 4 elite Vorak warriors can handle one small Earth creature. Try not to embarrass the entire Empire before they arrive. The comm clicked off, leaving Star alone with his orange nemesis, who was now sitting perfectly still with the kind of predatory focus usually reserved for dying gazelles. 3 minutes later, 3 more cloaked figures materialized in the miller's front yard. Vexith, the demolitions expert, Krilla, the stealth specialist, and Zixnal, who held a record for fastest creature neutralization in the Outer Rim. So where's this terrifying beast? Vexith asked, powering up his plasma rifle. Star pointed at Chairman Meow, who was now grooming himself with casual indifference. The 3 hunters looked at the cat. The cat looked back. Nobody moved. That's it. Krilla's voice dripped disbelief. That's your apex predator? It's orange and fluffy. Are you sure it's not decorative? Added Zixnal. Watch and learn, Star said grimly. Vexith raised his plasma rifle and fired a low-intensity stun blast directly at Chairman Meow. The orange had observed the bright blue energy beam approaching, casually sidestepped it with fluid grace, then began walking purposefully toward the 4-armed aliens. Okay, that's unusual, Vexith admitted, but it's just one creature. Krilla activated his advanced cloaking system, the kind that bent light itself. He became completely invisible to all known forms of detection. Chairman Meow stopped walking, tilted his head slightly, then pounced with surgical precision on exactly where Krilla was standing. 20 pounds the cat landed on the stealth specialist's head, and began the time-honored feline tradition of making biscuits with fully extended claws. How is it tracking me? I'm invisible. Cats don't hunt with their eyes. Genius, Star called out. They hunt with everything else. Zixnal, determined to maintain the team's reputation, activated his speed enhancement and rushed Chairman Meow at roughly 60 miles per hour. Chairman Meow waited until the last possible second, then simply wasn't there anymore. Zixnal crashed into the miller's prize-winning rose bush while Chairman Meow materialized on top of the mailbox, having apparently teleported through some cat-specific dimensional shortcut. Did it just... Vexith stared. Did it just phase shift? Cats don't follow physics, Star said wearily. I tried to tell Command, but nobody listens. Chairman Meow surveyed his 4 opponents, then began that slow, deliberate purr again. But this time, he had backup. From somewhere in the darkness came an answering purr, then another and another. The hunters looked around nervously as glowing eyes began appearing in windows, on fence posts, and from underneath cars. How many domestic creatures do these humans keep? Vexith whispered. All of them, apparently. Star replied as a sound of approaching paws filled the night air. # Chapter 4, The Cavalry. The porch light at 12:49, Maple Street flickered on, and Mrs. Eleanor Patterson appeared in her doorway. At 73, she'd survived 3 husbands, 2 teenagers, and 4 to 7 years of library work. Strange noises at 3 a.m. barely registered on her give-a-damn meter. What in Sam Hill is going on out there? she called, squinting into the darkness where 4 invisible aliens were having nervous breakdowns. All she could see was Chairman Meow sitting regally on the Miller's mailbox, surrounded by several other neighborhood cats who'd materialized like furry ghosts. Mrs. Patterson had what she called cat vision. For decades of managing the library's resident mouses had taught her to read feline body language like a book. Right now, every cat in sight was displaying coordinated hunting behavior. "Well, I'll be," she murmured, then cupped her hands around her mouth. "Kitties, assemble." What happened next would later be described by General Frick as a tactical disaster of unprecedented proportions. Mrs. Patterson's back door opened, and her 6 rescue cats emerged in perfect formation. Leading was Shadow, a sleek black Tom who'd earned his name by appearing in impossible places. Behind him came Duchess, a pristine white Persian whose blue eyes held the cold calculation of a mob accountant. Next was Gremlin, a tabby whose small size belied his talent for absolute chaos. Princess followed, a calico who treated every situation like a personal insult. Then came Bandit, a tuxedo cat who specialized in theft and misdirection. Finally, Tank brought up the rear, a massive gray Tom who'd gotten his name by walking through screen doors instead of around them. The 4 alien hunters watched in growing horror as the cats arranged themselves in unmistakably tactical formation. "This is impossible," Vexeth whispered. "They are organizing. Primitive domestic creatures don't organize." "Tell that to them," Star hissed back, pointing at Shadow, who had somehow gotten behind their position without anyone seeing him move. Mrs. Patterson, meanwhile, had pulled out her cell phone. "Hello, 911? This is Eleanor Patterson at 1249 Maple Street. I need to report some kind of disturbance in my neighbor's yard." She paused, listening. "No, Officer Rodriguez, I'm not calling about cats fighting. The cats are working together. That's what has me worried." Tommy Miller's bedroom window opened on the 2nd floor. 8-year-old Tommy had been awakened by the commotion and did what any modern child would do in a potentially historic situation. Grabbed his tablet and started recording. "Holy cow," Tommy whispered, pointing his device at the yard below. "Chairman Meow's got aliens." His tablet's night vision mode clearly showed 4 tall, distinctly non-human figures surrounded by cats. Tommy, who spent his free time watching YouTube videos about cryptids, immediately recognized this as a content opportunity of a lifetime. "Okay, TikTok," he whispered to his camera. "You're not gonna believe this, but there are literally invisible aliens in my front yard right now, and my cat has them trapped." Down in the yard, Star heard the child's voice and looked up to see a small human pointing a recording device directly at them. "The juvenile is documenting us," he hissed. "Impossible," Vexeth replied. "We're cloaked." "Tell that to the recording device." Tommy provided running commentary for his rapidly growing live audience. "Okay, so the big orange one is Chairman Meow. He's like the neighborhood boss cat. The black one is Shadow. He belongs to Mrs. Patterson. That white one is Duchess. She's super prissy, but apparently also a tactical genius." Officer Rodriguez heard the child's voice and looked up. Tommy Miller, what are you doing up there?" "Documenting first contact, Officer Rodriguez. This is going on every social media platform I can think of." "First contact with what?" Tommy held up his tablet. Even from the ground, Rodriguez could clearly make out 4 tall, distinctly alien figures standing exactly where the cats had them surrounded. Rodriguez stared at the tablet screen, then at the seemingly empty yard, then back at the screen. "Well," he said finally, "that explains the cats." Tommy's live stream had attracted several hundred viewers, and the comment section was exploding. View count climbed rapidly as word spread that some kid in Ohio was broadcasting genuine alien contact. "Okay, chat," Tommy continued. "The aliens look really frustrated right now, like Chairman Meow has basically turned them into the world's most advanced cat toys." Indeed, the 4 Vorak hunters were showing signs of serious psychological stress. They had gone from confident predators to prey animals in 20 minutes, and now had human law enforcement and social media documentation to contend with. "This is a diplomatic incident," Krilla moaned. "Command is going to have our molting cycle for this." Diplomatic incident. Zixnal laughed bitterly. "We're being held prisoner by house pets while a human child broadcasts our humiliation to their primitive information network." Mrs. Patterson had been watching Officer Rodriguez study Tommy's tablet with interest, so you can see them on the recording device. Clear as day. 4 of them, about 7 feet tall. Definitely not from around here. "Well then," Mrs. Patterson said practically, "I suppose I should put on some coffee. This looks like it might take a while." She paused at her door. "Should I call the Millers and let them know they have company?" Rodriguez looked at the 2 unconscious adults visible through the living room window, then at the child documenting everything from the 2nd floor, then at the tactical cat formation maintaining perfect discipline around 4 increasingly desperate alien visitors. "You know what, Mrs. Patterson? Let's see how this plays out first. I have a feeling Dave and Linda are going to need all the sleep they can get." Tommy's live stream viewer count had passed 5,000 and was climbing rapidly. People were already posting screenshots and sharing across platforms. The aliens were no longer just trapped by cats. They were trapped by cats while being broadcast live to the entire internet. And somewhere in orbit, General Frick was about to have the worst morning briefing of his military career. General Frick had been monitoring the mission with casual interest. Earth extractions were supposed to be routine, even boring. That confidence had evaporated 37 minutes ago. "Repeat that transmission. Hunter Star." "Sir, we are currently detained by a coordinated force of domestic Earth creatures numbering approximately 9 individuals, all of which appear to operate outside standard biological parameters. Additionally, local law enforcement has arrived, and our presence is being broadcast live to the planet's global information network." General Frick stared at his tactical display showing 4 heat signatures surrounded by much smaller ones in perfect formation. "You're telling me that 4 elite Vorak hunters are being held hostage by *pets*? "So, I respectfully submit that these are not pets in any conventional sense. They appear to be a highly evolved tactical species that humans keep as companions, possibly a symbiotic relationship where humans provide resources in exchange for home defense services." And the broadcasting situation. A human juvenile is documenting the entire encounter. Current viewership has exceeded 12,000 and is climbing exponentially. So, within hours, the entire planet will have visual evidence of our species. General Frick pulled up the intercepted video feed from Tommy's livestream. What he saw defied every piece of intelligence the Vorak Empire had gathered about Earth. 4 of his best hunters were clearly visible, standing in a suburban yard while 9 Earth cats maintained perfect tactical positioning around them. The cats weren't acting like animals. They were acting like a military unit with clear command structure and coordinated strategy. But what truly horrified General Frick was the comment section. Thousands of humans were watching in real time, and their responses ranged from excitement to humor to tactical analysis. User CatLady47 suggests the orange one is a commanding officer. His translator informed him. User Alien Hunter 2024 is providing real-time tactical commentary on feline formation strategy. User Thomas Mom is asking why her son is awake at 3 a.m., and whether she should be proud or concerned. General Frick muted the translator before it could provide more cultural context he didn't want. On screen, he watched one of the Earth creatures deliberately push advanced Vorak equipment off a raised surface for no apparent tactical reason other than psychological warfare. The human comment section exploded with laughter emojis. "This is a disaster," General Frick muttered. Then louder, "Command to all hunters, execute immediate emergency extraction. Authorization Omega-7. So, Kame's strained voice, "We are unable to reach extraction coordinates. The small furry ones have established a containment perimeter and appear to be herding us toward the human dwelling's rear storage structure." General Frick looked at his tactical screen again. The 4 hunters were indeed being systematically moved toward what appeared to be a small building behind the main structure. The cats were employing classic pack hunting behavior, using coordinated positioning to guide their prey exactly where they wanted them. "They are corralling you," he realized with growing horror. "The domestic creatures are using advanced pack hunting techniques." "Sir, with respect, they are not domestic. I don't think they were ever domestic. I think humans just convinced themselves they're domesticated creatures that were actually managing them." General Frick watched the orange cat signal something to the others with a barely perceptible twitch. Immediately, 2 other cats adjusted positions to block potential escape routes. The coordination was flawless. Military grade. "So," came another voice. "This is Lieutenant Vexith. I've analyzed the tactical situation, and I believe we may have severely underestimated Earth's defensive capabilities. These creatures aren't pets. They're a symbiotic warrior class that humans have integrated into their society. And the broadcasting situation continues to deteriorate," added Krilla. "The video feed now shows over 25,000 viewers. The Human Information Network is amplifying our presence across their entire planetary communication system." General Frick made a decision that would be studied in military academies across the galaxy for decades. "All units, emergency teleportation extraction. Immediate." "Sir, that's standard protocol violation." "Now." The 4 hunters vanished in shimmers of transported light, leaving behind roughly 2 million credits worth of advanced alien technology scattered across the Miller family's front yard. The cats, having successfully defended their territory, began the traditional post-victory ritual of grooming themselves with the satisfaction of a job well done. Tommy's livestream, now approaching 50,000 viewers, captured every moment of the aliens' panicked retreat. "Holy crap, chat! They just straight up abandoned everything and ran away. Chairman Meow literally made aliens retreat. This is the best night ever." Officer Rodriguez examined the abandoned equipment with the careful attention of someone who would have to write a very unusual incident report. Mrs. Patterson emerged from her house carrying coffee and cookies, because in her experience, weird situations always went better with refreshments. And in orbit, General Frick composed what would become known as the Earth Prohibition Directive, asterisk to all vessels of the Vorak Empire, by order of General Frick, Earth, designation Sovri, is hereby classified as a Class 1 Forbidden Zone. All contact with this system is prohibited under penalty of court-martial. Asterisk. So, what classification reason should I include? General Frick looked at the tactical footage one more time, watching 9 Earth cats systematically dismantle the confidence of 4 trained hunters using nothing but psychological warfare and superior tactical coordination. "Hostile symbiotic warrior species," he said finally. "And make sure every ship commander understands. It's not the humans you have to worry about. It's the small furry ones. The ones with the dead eyes and retractable claws." He paused, then added, "Put a special notation in the file. Under no circumstances should anyone attempt contact with the orange ones. They appeared to be officer class. Down on Earth, Chairman Meow finished his grooming, looked up at the stars with supreme satisfaction, and began purring. It was a purr of a job well done. Tommy's livestream would eventually reach over 2 million views, making him temporarily internet famous and Chairman Meow a global celebrity. Mrs. Patterson received a commendation from the mayor for outstanding community vigilance. Officer Rodriguez got a promotion and the most interesting police report in Ohio state history. Dave and Linda Miller woke up the next morning to find their front yard full of alien technology, their son famous on social media, and their cat being interviewed by CNN. They decided to go back to bed and deal with it after more coffee. And somewhere in the galactic database, Earth's entry was quietly updated with a single crucial warning that would keep humanity safe for generations to come. Asterisk inhabited by humans and their terrifying orange overlords. Asterisk. Asterisk end of incident report asterisk.